Thank you. I will try my utmost to let you know what I'm doing. One thing that I take away from all the sustainability goals, development goals, is the key part of how interconnected they are and how partnership plays an important role. I like to start with something, I'm just setting my timer here. I like to start with something that I experienced, if you can show my slides, over the course of my travels over the last couple of months. You see, this clicker does not work. Okay, it is working. Okay. What I noticed is many responses and opinions and worries about us moving into a polarized world of black and white, which I actually, in my experience, it's actually in very stark contrast to my experience. What I have seen in talking to entrepreneurs and innovators and designers is a multiverse of diversity, a colorful background of experiences and passion and skills. And I realized this very particularly when I visited the Global Entrepreneurship Summit in Stanford earlier this year, where entrepreneurs and startups from around the world came together with the support ecosystem to talk about how to share, how to discuss, and how to connect with each other to overcome some of these challenges. And we really do have the challenges cut out for us. If you have 10 billion people live on the planet, 75% of them will be in urban communities. 95% will live within an hour's drive of a city. 5 billion people in the global middle class also means twice the amount of energy, resources, and all sorts of other demands on the design of our cities and our infrastructure. I'd like to talk to you about 3 different examples of how some of these challenges are overcome. The first example is an example of making connections with new partners and using different new tools to come to a new solution. The solution here is LED lamps provided to off-grid community by a Chinese company called DX Element. Now, DX Element works with the National Women's Foundation of China in order to develop a lamp that is waterproof, that lasts 6 years. And what they do is they design these lamps to the requirements needed, but at the same time, they also use crowdfunding platforms to finance it. So once they know there's a village that has, or a community that requires 200 of these lamps, they set up a crowdfunding campaign and go and fund the manufacturing of it as well as the delivery to it. So this clicker is not really working. All right. And the founder of the company himself, once the target was set, goes and delivers these lamps to these communities, hands them to children, so they become the carrier of light within the family and have an opportunity to do homework after it has become dark. The second example is example of capacity building. Mass Design is a non-profit architectural firm that worked in the development of this hospital in Rwanda, Africa. And they developed this building in order to use local tools and local methods to overcome and to stop spreading of airborne diseases. What they also have done is they look into using local materials and educate locals to understand how to build such a building. In 2050, you have 2.5 billion people in Africa. It requires 300,000 primary schools, 85,000 hospitals and health centers that need to be built. You need the architects and you need the understanding. So Mass Design also started an initiative called the African Design Center, which is a fellowship that provides, that looks into training and empowering locals to understand that you can design an equitable, just, and sustainable Africa. Autodesk supports DX Element. It also supports Mass Design and the African Design Center. We provide pro bono, and we look pro bono activities and volunteers, but we also look into helping them in their education of volunteers, builders, foremen, and the local community partners like Water for People and UNHCR. The next example, the final third example, is an example of empowerment through technology. Now, there are currently 65 million people displaced around the world. 21 million of them living in refugees, are refugees. And the UNHCR has a platform to build, to have planners, site planners that look into building the sites for refugees. Together with the company Microdesk, Autodesk trained site planners in the use of infrastructure design software in order to build shelter that is safe, that is dignified and sustainable. And we trained out of 9 countries from Africa and the Middle East site planners in the use of these tools. In the next slide, once it appears, you can see on the left bottom side a shot from the actual software, and on the top side the photograph. I keep on pressing it, but it's not working. Maybe, there you go, I pressed it too much. Okay. All right, so now, before I end, why is Autodesk doing this? Autodesk is a software company over 30 years old. We provide tools for architects, engineers that build the buildings, the cities, the infrastructure, the products that we use every day. So we believe that if Autodesk's biggest contribution is through design technology that bring into the hands of millions of users that can have an impact on billions of people. And we believe that design has the power to enable sustainability challenges, to solve sustainability challenges, so that the right building is built and the right product is being built. We don't work only with the big companies, we also work with small companies. So Piano Vision, for those of you who've been in the SDG 7 workshop, have met Yves Zhou, who is the founder of Piano Vision, that has the passion to develop solar solutions and bringing them into every home in China. And there's a few examples of these. The next one here shows how they outfitted a school in northwestern China with solar power and clean energy. All right, Autodesk's vision is to help people imagine, design, and create a better world. We don't do this only because we support others. We also look at our own business operations. We were the first North American company to commit to all 7 of the We Mean Business Coalition that started in the run-up of COP21. Yesterday, we signed a declaration of intent with the Ministry of Economic Collaboration in Germany to be part of the Make IT initiative that helps technology entrepreneurs and startups in countries like Africa and around the world. This is a quick snapshot of all the various products that companies or partners that we are in touch with. If you're interested, looking forward to have further conversation after this talk or later on in the breaks. Yep. I started this conversation earlier with talking about the multiverse of diversity and how colorful the rich experiences are. For those of you, you might have realized these colors I sort of picked, of course, from the Sustainability Development Goals.